Oh, what happened to our music? Oh, no. Bienvenidos a Fabricamentos de Medicina. Or welcome to I Am Abel Foundation's Medicine Makers. We are so glad to be here on another slick and slippery Tuesday, but we're glad to be here. Just want to let you know that if your destination is a career in medicine, we're going to show you how to get here. I am your host, Dr. Lamenta Sweetie Conway, and I Am Abel Foundation's Medicine Maker is a program filled with amazing content for a student who dreams of becoming a physician, but who is also passionate about bringing true healing and compassion and equity to medicine. Before we get started with these two wonderful people over here on my right, I just want to let all of our young people know, our high school, college, and our post-bac students, that I Am Abel Foundation's applications are now open. We are at www.iamable. That's spelled ABEL.org. Again, it's www.iamable.org. Remember, all of you that are out there, we would love it if you would just tell your friends, your neighbors, any young person that's interested that we're on live right now on channel 21 or channel 99, or you can stream us live at cantv.org/hotline. Again, cantv.org/hotline. And another interesting thing is, if you have some questions, our telephone lines are going to be open on today. What do you think about that?
Sounds good.
Okay, we're going to be at 312-738-1060. Again, 312-738-1060 if you have any questions. Tonight is a special edition of Medicine Makers because we are talking about Cuba. And we just got back a few days ago, really not that long ago, about a week ago, from a spectacular trip. Is everything you think it is and a whole lot more. Can I get a witness?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. We had a ball. And we took a group of social workers, doctors, students, and lay people, and we went there to enjoy the Afro-Cuban culture, to learn about the people, and to study the Cuban health system, to see if we could make some parallels and comparisons, perhaps, to our own systems. So we are excited to be here on today. And these two amazing young people that I have with me, I love them to death. And if ever I had to take a young group of people with me again, it would be these two, because they were so well behaved. But on top of that, more importantly, they were just so engaged. And it's really kind of hard not to be engaged when you're over there. It's an amazing experience. So to my right, to my far right, I have Aria Caldwell, and sitting next to me is Camari Jones. I would like to welcome our young people to our show on tonight, and I can't wait to talk a little bit more with them about their experience in Cuba, as well as being in the I Am Abel Foundation. So Aria, I'd like to start with you, and just tell us a little bit about yourself, your lovely self. Tell us.
Hi, I'm Aria. I'm a part of the 2019 class of the I Am Abel Foundation mentoring program. I go to Oakton Community College, and my mentor's name is Dr. Adrienne Dade.
Coolness.
And
Do you know where does she practice?
She practices at University of Chicago at a clinic in OB/GYN.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. And Camari, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Hi, I joined the program in 2018. I'm a student at Gary Coleman College Prep, and I am planning on being a geriatrician.
Yes, being a geriatrician. That's right. Okay, that's wonderful. Can you tell me a little bit about, well, let me just ask you, Aria. Tell me one or two, if you like, valuable experiences. What is it that you love about the foundation?
So
Evelyn's gonna come on out and say it.
Okay, so my favorite things about the foundation is, first of all, we get a mentor one-on-one in the area of the specialty that we want to go into. I think that that's very valuable. I've gotten to shadow my mentor, and it's been an experience that you just can't go and grab from anywhere.
That's true.
It's been really great. Also, on Saturday mornings, once a month, we have a Saturday morning professor where we're learning to take the history of a patient, and we're learning about different aspects of taking vitals, and we learned how to do sutures and injections, and it's just been learning things that even like M1's first year medical students aren't even learning. So it's been a great.
And we talk about creating legacy because we know in many communities we'll see generations of physicians in a number of ethnicities. But unfortunately, in our community, because there is not that critical mass of physicians, oftentimes our parents are not someone that can actually lead us or direct us. So Am Abel Foundation, our goal is to create legacy by proxy. So maybe your mother or your uncle is not a physician, and that's a very valuable experience. It makes a big difference. I shared this once before that I had an intern who his uncle was a radiologist, and instantly his understanding of everything on rounds was that much more amplified. I mean, he was way ahead of the curve. And those are the kind of experiences, especially as young people of color, that you need, not only to give you confidence, but to also give you competence. So one of the things that we offer, as Aria shared, is the Saturday Morning Professor Series, and it is pretty amazing and pretty impactful. And I agree with you, Aria, that some of the things even the medical students have come to us and shared, they haven't yet been exposed to, but you guys are being exposed to it early, and we know early exposure is pretty important. So thanks for sharing that. And one other thing, you spoke on having your own physician mentor. And I think I get a call almost every day from a young person who is looking for somebody that they can shadow. And it's a lot of restrictions. Hospitals are not very open to that experience because of HIPAA laws and regulations. And you really do need someone from the inside. So it's a pretty valuable experience, and it sounds like it's been a good one for you.
Yes.
Camari, if you can tell me how the mission of Am Abel Foundation has maybe shaped you or, shaped your trajectory moving forward.
Am Abel Foundation's mission has pushed me to be more confident in what I do and becoming a doctor, because I haven't always had the best grades or the best scores. So it's like it's pushing me to say, okay, you can do this, even though it's not perfect right now. And the goal is to raise future doctors that are going to be great and healthcare heroes. So I'm constantly looking for ways to better myself and learn how to deal with people in a nice and controlled way.
Right, and also as we talk about, one of the things that I often, and I share this with everyone, I say medicine and society are inextricably tied. There's no pill that can take away the pain of the voiceless. We can give you an inhaler for asthma, but can we help you with your poorly conditioned housing? And maybe as a physician we can't do everything, but certainly as we look at our patients, we got to be thinking about the kinds of things that's going on in their house, their spiritual situations, their social and emotional all of those aspects contribute to the health and the well-being of the patient. And I think that's one of the reasons why we so much loved our experience in Cuba, because even though we know it's not a perfect health system, even though we know that they're strapped economically, the one thing we do know is they have a very good sense of medicine and society. And I think that's one of the things that we really, really did enjoy. Thanks for sharing that. Just want to, again, remind you guys, if you are out there, you can find us on, depending on what social media you are on or what form of media you are on. You can find us on CAN TV Channel 21 or 99, or if you happen to be following us live or you want to or want to share with other people, we are at cantv.org/hotline, and you can follow us. But do remember, it is a call-in program, and if you have questions about the Urban Bridges Medical Mentoring Program, which is a division of Am Abel Foundation, or if you just want to learn more about our experience in Cuba, which we will be talking about in just a few seconds, make sure that you give us a call. We would love to take your questions. So, you guys have just returned from 8 glorious days in Cuba.
Yes.
And I think one of you even got a couple of days off of school to do it. Wasn't a bad deal. Had to, make a few little moves, but it worked out. But do you feel like that was worth it?
Yes, I really enjoyed it.
Absolutely. I do feel like education comes in so many ways, not just textbook, but definitely by these rich experiences. And these are the kind of things that you'll never actually forget. Camari, tell me what resonated the most with you about the Cuban culture? What kind of stood out for you? What kind of impacted you? What did you love?
I loved how many African Americans were in Cuba.
African Americans or
Afro-Cubans?
Afro-Cubans, sure.
So, they were so happy to see me.
They were.
It's like, you are here from America was just a big deal.
Yeah, it was.
I really enjoyed that. And then how grateful they were with having so little. It was like, I really appreciated what I have so much more now.
Yeah, I agree. You talked about how friendly and fun. I think you all might remember the one moment that I will never forget was when we were all having lunch at, I think it was Rum Rum.
Oh, I know what you
We were at Rum Rum and we were salsing, trying to get our salsa on, and some were salsing better than others, meaning not myself. And all of a sudden, we looked outside. You want to tell what happened?
Yes, we looked outside, and on her porch was this lady looking down, and she was salsaing with us. And she was doing the dance and the man who was playing the music turned around to her and was prompting her for the dance, and it was just like something that you'd never see.
You absolutely would not see that anywhere in Chicago.
Yeah.
I mean, she was actually enjoying us enjoying ourselves, and it was pretty amazing. What resonated with you, Aria?
I really loved the friendliness. Everybody was like so happy to see you and just smiling, and Cuba's not the most rich country in the world,
Right.
and these people they're making do, and they're not even really acknowledging that they're in the situation that they're in,
Right.
and they're just making the most of life, and they're dancing and they're playing their music and they're just having a great time.
Yeah. That kind of reminds me, I think, Aria, you were with me. I think we lost track of Camari and Clinton at the time, but Aria, you were with me when that was kind of an emotional moment when I got a chance to find my friends.
Yes.
Yeah, so we got a chance to go back and find the grandma Elvira and her husband.
So cute.
They were really cute, and it kind of reminded me of the old days, back in the old times when we actually had that sense of community. And I remember when one of the first times that I went with my son Corey, I remember every time that I would walk down the street and she would see me, and she would speak to me in Spanish, of course, and she's like, "Are you looking for Corey? Corey está allá," or acá, and as soon as I showed her the picture, because I wasn't sure if she's going to remember us, because it had been about 3 years ago, you could see the tears come from her eyes. It's like, oh my goodness, it's you all. You came back to see us. And it's just the little things, it was one of those things about Cuban culture that is just fascinating. One of the things I'm hoping that maybe we can we go back, to, as they say, to the good old days. So it was pretty wonderful. On top of just having a ball, just having fun, what was some of the fun stuff that you did?
Spent some nights just walking around the streets and going in the old Havana.
Was it safe?
Yes.
Yeah.
It was dark out, but it was walking around the old Havana, going shopping places, and just hanging out with each other.
Right. I think for me, the colors. What did you think about the colors?
Yeah.
Oh, everybody was just so colorful.
Yes.
Everybody was wearing colors, and it was just so bright always.
It was really, really bright. One of the things that kind of resonates with me was the music.
Yes.
The music was crazy. When I tell you that you could not walk down the street to another block without hearing a band play, it was just so much life and liveliness. And when we speak of the colors, I'm speaking of the buildings, the green hues, purple, red, all kinds of colors. And even though they were a little bit dilapidated, it seems where they were falling apart in one way, they were kind of reconstructed and held together with love. So it was wonderful. But the main reason why we went to Cuba was not just to enjoy the people, and God knows that was certainly an important factor, but we also went to explore the Cuban health system, because you all are young people that are going to be doctors, and we want you to have the kind of experiences that can expand your mind and your thinking, so that hopefully as you move forward in your careers as physician healers and basically our healthcare heroes, you'll have a framework for another idea, because sometimes it's good to step outside of our walls, go someplace else and see how they do it. And with that being said, what did you think about how the healthcare system is structured? Can you talk to me a little bit about that?
So, the healthcare system in Cuba, first of all, is free.
Yeah.
First of all.
That's first of all, yes.
There are essentially 3 levels. The primary level is the consultorios, which are clinics. They're like your doctor's office. They have a doctor and 1 or 2 nurses. They live in the neighborhood, so for the neighborhood, there will be 1 doctor for every probably 800 or so patients. They get to know these patients personally. The consultorio building it houses their house.
Yeah.
So they live in this neighborhood with
Right.
everybody. So they're learning about everyone's lifestyle, and they're learning about all their patients, and they're treating like minor illnesses and diseases. The second level is a polyclinic, which would be essentially equivalent to an urgent care for us here. It would be like our outpatient, a little bit higher level. There's a 24-hour emergency department. It has specialists. So
As well.
the specialists are for these consultorios. So for the polyclinic that we went to cared for 27,000 patients, and it reached out to 24 consultorios in the neighborhood, and it was for that. So it actually, an initiative started in 2002 to start bringing more specialties into the polyclinic, because Cuba's goal is to really have most of their care for their patients done at consultorios and polyclinics and not so much at hospitals. Which brings me to the third level, which is a hospital.
Sure, of course.
Which we all know what a hospital is, and it's pretty much the same thing, like your inpatient services, your emergency department, stuff like that.
You know, for me, one of the striking differences about the consultorio and about basically our primary care compared to primary care in Cuba is the home visits.
Yes.
There are some doctors who are almost dinosaurs, sad to say, in our culture, in our medicine culture, that do these home visits. But one of the things that's kind of interesting is, I remember when I was there a few years ago, actually I was sitting up here talking to the grandma that I was mentioning a few moments ago, my son and I, and just talking to her about the healthcare system in Cuba, when up to our surprise, unplanned, unscripted, walks an Afro-Cuban doctor. He just walks right past us and walks right in to see the patient. It was so unexpected, and I think now that we've seen how the system is set up, it makes a lot of sense. Just want to let you take a quick look at the consultorios. So this is one of the Cuban physicians as he just kind of walks up and he's examining the patient.
Ahora lo que haya que echarle, él me da la receta, yo voy a la farmacia con el dinero, la compro. La receta médica. Depende de lo que vaya, depende de cada falta medicamentos. Tenían por ahí. Médico no sé. No, ahora lo tiene bajito. Lo que es día se te echa. Lo que es día se te echa. Sí. Aquí todos somos alérgicos. Nosotros con 4. Sí. Nosotros 4 somos alérgicos a la penicilina.
In the interest,
Dime, mi amor.
in the interest of time, we will take a little break from our actual video because, see. Sorry about that, a few little technical difficulties, but we're going to take a break from the video because sometime in February, March, we're going to actually come back with another edition of our Cuban special edition show, and we'll actually bring you more live footage of some of the places we went and some of the things that we saw. But what you got a chance to witness was one of the consultorios, or one of the consulting family medicine doctors who actually came. And what the part you did miss was the lovely conversation that we had opportunity to talk about. Anything else that kind of stands out with you? Do we have any callers yet on our line? Anything stands out for you guys?
For me, the fact that they go to people's homes and care for them is another line of communication, which I would like to do the same.
Right.
To build that relationship with patients back at home so that they know that I care for them and not only want to see them at the hospital, but see how they live and how everything works for them at home.
Speaking of that, that kind of reminded me, when we had the opportunity to go to the maternity hospital, we noticed that the family physician showed up there too. It kind of reminded me, for those of you who are old enough to remember, the old Marcus Welby, MD. I know it dates them, it might even date some of their parents, actually. Sorry I even mentioned it, y'all. But anyway, Marcus Welby was one of my mentors back when there was no black doctors on television, so I had to grab somebody, so it was Marcus Welby, MD. That's all I had. That's who I had. And anyway, he used to be known for going to everywhere that the patient was, and I do think that it was different, a different kind of experience when we had that. The other thing I liked was the access. I think the access to care was duplicated. So you could not only see the patient at the family physician, but you were also allowed to go to the polyclinic. You also, for example, in our culture right now, because of cost dollars, if you go to the hospital, that's strongly discouraged. But basically there were all of these layers of access. Now, we'll talk on a future show on what the flip side or the negative side is, because obviously, because we don't actually have the funding in Cuba that we may have in a first world country, it does make a difference. One of the things I do want to say, though, you guys might remember some of the statistics. Do you guys remember the statistics for HIV and for syphilis that's actually documented by the World Health Organization?
Yeah, they actually got, there are some mothers that have HIV, and they got it to where there are no transmissions.
Since 2015.
Since 2015, between the mother and the child of HIV and syphilis.
And this is in a country that many would probably consider third world, but they're doing some first world medicine. We just can't wait to tell you so much more about Cuba. In the meantime, I do want our young people, if you're out there, to go to www.iamable.org to learn more about how you can become a part of our program at I Am Able Foundation. We have tons of things for you to do, and we would love for you to be a part of us. So I hate to actually go. Anything that you want to say before we leave?
I would like to say, when you go immerse yourself in a different culture, be open-minded and be ready to learn and be ready to take in every part of their culture, because I learned so much in Cuba about their healthcare system and about the people in general, and I'm just glad that I went in with an open mind and got to learn so much.
Thank you so much, and I think that's it for us. Thank you so much for coming.
No problem.